Check. There it is. Yay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. I love fall. We got an extra hour of sleep. We should all be ready to go. We're ready to go this morning. So we just got a couple of minutes here. In fact, you got 1 minute and 53 seconds. I please encourage you to stand up and go see somebody and love on them for just a minute. Check, baby. All right, start heading back that way. We're almost ready. I think we're on the air. Okay, Pastor John, we got to get going.
Who's the last one?
He's still talking. I know it. It's not fair. We don't give you enough time. I want to start this morning with one thing. I'm going to piggyback what Christy said this morning about prophesying. That everybody has that, right? Everybody has that gift. It says it very clearly. Everyone can prophesy. And what does that mean? All that means is speaking to something that isn't yet. But you know it's the truth. So you're just going to speak it until it becomes reality. Right? So that's all prophecy is. It doesn't mean that you have to line out somebody's life and give them all these facts about the future or the past or whatever. All it means is when you're talking to somebody, I'm talking to Pastor John and he doesn't realize he's a pastor yet. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be a pastor one day because I see that inside of you. You just speak what God shows you is all you're doing. But edifying, you're building each other up. If it's negative, watch out. Just might pray on it a little while before you share it. But I'm not saying he doesn't ever say anything to correct us. He does. But, just be careful when you get something and you feel like it's negative. But I want to piggyback on what she said. She said that everybody has that. Well, I would like to encourage you to realize that you can also prophesy to yourself. And you should probably start there. A lot of times we have these words for other people, but we're struggling so much inside. You need to start speaking to yourself as well and encouraging yourself and prophesying to yourself and speaking the promises over yourself as well. So that prophecy does not disinclude you.
Exclude.
It does not exclude you. I like that one better. That's Texan. Pastries. Okay, I think yesterday we kind of hit a vein. I know that's kind of a weird way to say that, but last week, I mean, we kind of hit something that's important that I think I want to do a small review, I guess. I just want to go over it just a little bit because it's going to roll into what I have to talk about today. And you know, when you're holding on to the past and you're holding on to what you used to be and you're looking at it and you're looking at all the circumstances and you're holding on to all this stuff, when you do that, you're hindering where you can go. God can only drag you so far before these things will overtake your focus and you'll lose a step and you'll. Now, I'm not saying He's leaving you. Didn't say anything about Him. I'm talking about you. These are your choices that you have to make, whether you're going to hang on to this old garbage from your past and or pain and or, you know, all these different things that we have in our life. Are we going to hang on to those or not? Because we can't. I'm just going to start with saying it because we can't walk with Him in the present if we're holding on to the past, right? That's kind of what we talked about, was holding on to the stuff that's holding us back for us walking in His present, in His presence, either one, both. Because He doesn't want all this stuff, and as you bring it in, there's a hindrance on what He can show you for the future, right? And I think, why do we struggle with this so bad? Why do I struggle with letting go of the stuff that I did in the past? Why do people do that? Why do we got to hang out? You just don't know what I've done, or you don't know what's happened to me. So I have all this. Golly, it's hard to use this message without cussing. When you're holding on to all this junk, all this stuff, manure, when you're holding on to all that smelly stuff that should be used for fertilizer to grow new things, instead you're using it for smelly whatever. Past success will hinder your future success if that's all you dwell on. That's good. And that's a good thing. We talked about all the junk. What about the good things that we've done? The successes we've had, and all we can see is those. That also stops us from walking in God's presence because we're trying to lean on these kind of things. That's called your own understanding, by the way. You're leaning on all that stuff, and you're not able to see that you're not walking with God in the present, and therefore He can't take you to your future, right? I just don't know that we can hear that enough. Because see, here's the thing: the past is always growing. Every minute that goes by, there's a little bit more past you haven't dealt with. That you could hang on to if you want to. So this is a daily thing that we have to remind ourselves that we're not supposed to live in what happened 10 minutes ago. We're supposed to live in what's happening right now. Okay, we just got to let that stuff go. And I wrote the word let, L-E-T, and underlined it. And you know, here's the other thing I wrote down this morning. You know, the world may still see it. The world may say, well, do you know what you did back then? I know. I was with you at those events, or I was there whenever you did this, or I remember when you were that. That may be true. That's not who I am anymore. Right? So we have to also understand that the world may see it, and that don't let that stop you, because that's how the enemy works. Is he'll have the world remind you of what you used to be and what you used to do and what happened then, and so you can't this because I did that and all these other things. So we don't listen to the world because they don't know nothing. Okay, so now that's a small review. I encourage you, if you're having trouble letting go of something that happened in your past, dealing with any kind of pain that you've had, I encourage you to go back on Facebook and listen last week. I don't think I'm supposed to go through the whole thing again. But today we're going to talk about facts versus truth. Okay, do y'all understand? There's sometimes there's facts that don't line up with God's truth. So which one are we going to look at? Which one are we going to follow? Are we going to follow the fact that that's what I used to do, but that's no longer the truth about me? Does that make sense? I want us to stop looking at facts and start following truth. Okay? I woke up this morning, right? Here's a little bit of an analogy that went through my head. I woke up this morning, my body told me it was 7 a.m. But I looked at the clock and it was 6 a.m. Which one's truth? Are we going to listen to how my body feels and how my feelings are, or are we going to listen to the truth of what God says about us? Right? It's actually 7 o'clock in the morning, or excuse me, it's actually 6 o'clock in the morning. You can go back to sleep, Eric. You don't have to get up yet. But see, I listened to my body over that, and I lost an hour's sleep that I was supposed to gain last night. So we need to make sure that what we're listening to is actual truth and not just either our own understanding, what the world says, the past, the pain. Facts are the past, truth is our present, right? Maybe there are some things that happened. Maybe there are some things you did. Those are facts. You can't change the facts, but you can change the truth. You can't change the truth. You can believe the truth that overcomes the past. Because the truth is Jesus, right? He says he is the truth. Everybody understand that? He is the truth. What he says about you is truth. What God says about you, the promises that he made, that's truth. Okay. This is a good one here. I want everybody to listen to this one because I feel like everybody struggles with it at some point. Pain is facts. Pain in your life are facts. Right, Gavin? I mean, when my arm's hurting, that's a fact. Or, you go through, your I don't know, your finances. You can, whatever the case may be in your life, there's something that's causing you pain in your life. Those can be considered facts, but they are not the truth. That's not where you are. That's not who you are, right? And so the more we look at the pain, the bigger the pain becomes. I had this little thing on my hand. Man, that thing's not even a quarter inch. But man, it took me a few days before I could overcome that stuff. It hurt. So I'm looking at it all the time, just playing with it and looking at it. We need to quit looking at the pain and start looking at the present, which is his truth. Pains are facts, love is truth. And here's another one. Oh man, this is a hard one, so please. I was never a distance guy. I was a middle distance guy, but I know my son here, Drake, could run forever. Just keep going and keep going. He had lots of endurance. He was given the ability to have endurance as he ran, right? Just endurance is something that you have to work at. You have to build up endurance, right? Does that make sense? It takes practice. It takes pushing your body and your spirit or whatever to the point where it starts hurting, especially if you're talking about the body, right? You have to push your body to where past where you think it can go in order to gain endurance. But we're in such a hurry to escape pain, right? We're in such a hurry to escape the pain that we lose the process. We ignore the process. We avoid the process. We try to get out of the process. We try to get out of the reps. I coach a lot of kids, and 90% of them will do lots of things to get out of an extra rep or an extra wind sprint or an extra set of this or putting more weight on. Why? Because it hurts. But if they would just realize that if you would do those things, all of a sudden you're the best, right? You're the one who is doing things better than everybody else. Does that make sense? You can't expect to be better than the person next to you when they work harder than you do, right? Kind of a deal. So it's the same way with us in our personal and our spiritual lives. You have to deal with these things, and you have to allow God to take you through the process so you can have the endurance Hebrews 12, verse 1. We need to stop being in such a hurry to, in the United States, we are so bad about everything should be right now. Agreed? I should have a game in my hand right now because I have to be entertained. Right? I have to watch TV. I have to do this to get. Why do we have all these devices and TV and all these things? Tell me why. Does anybody know why? It's a distraction and/or an escape from reality. Right? I mean, that's what they're designed for. I can't handle reality, so what I do, I stare at my phone, I stare at the TV, and I'm a bad TV guy. I watch TV all the time, so I'm not trying to get out of this. I do the same thing as everybody else. But we have to understand that as you're doing those things, you're just prolonging the process that you could be getting through quicker by the phones, the internet, all these different things that you have to stare at. I mean, Gavin's mad at me right now. How long is he going to hold on to that? I don't know. We got to let it go. We got to let it go, man. Because sometimes you get corrected, and that's okay. I get corrected all the time. Hebrews 12, verse 1. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us set aside every weight and the sin which is so easily ensnares us. Okay, we're going to get into a little bit of being free from this stuff, but I want you to understand what I'm trying to get at here. There's weight. Sometimes there's things that happen. There's pain. There's a weightiness to life, right? Does everybody agree with that? And all these things ensnare us. They hold us back. But if we'll just give into it, and we just if we just run the race with endurance that's set before us, I just want us to see that we can't escape it. You can't escape it. But you can let God have it, surrender Him it, and then when you get through, you're going to have more endurance to be able to run the race. I know I didn't say that very well. Hopefully y'all kind of got some of that, because I think it's very, very important that we don't try to escape. What's the next verse say? I forgot. Come on. These things, pain happens. What should we do? Look unto Jesus. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. What's the last word? It starts with an F. The author and finisher. Y'all understand that? He's going to finish what He started. He will finish what He started. Jesus is going to finish what He started. Jesus will finish what He started in you. Okay? He'll finish what He started in you. Most of the time, as soon as the pain comes, we're like, well, what did I do? Well, you may not have done anything. It may just be we live in a fallen world. I don't know. But I do know when that happens, I'm going to look unto Jesus, because I know He's the finisher of my faith. And He's the author. For who the joy that was set before Him endured the cross. Now let me tell you something. How many of you have been beaten and put all these things and hung up on a cross and had your thing? Anybody went through that? I think he understands what pain means. He understands what it means to have been. And what did He do to deserve all those things? Loved you is the only thing He did. Okay? And see, listen. How many times does something happen in our life and there's pain? And what do? Why, God, why did you do this to me? I don't think He did it to you. I don't think He's doing it to you. Gosh, I don't know how to say that. I think He'll use it. I don't think he causes it. You know, Jesus did what He did for the joy that was set before Him. Do you know what that joy is? Anybody? It was Dan. That's why He did it. It was Drake. It was Gavin. It was John, Beck. It was all of us, right? It was you. That was the joy that was set before Him. So Him going through and being able to endure all the pain that he had to go through for you, I think it's okay that we can endure some things that don't get, my bills are a little bit behind, or something happens, my car gets wrecked or whatever. And you ought to look at sometime despising. He endured the cross, despising the shame. What shame would he have had? What shame did he? What are they talking about? Despising what shame? Do you know what shame he's talking about there? He's talking about your shame, my shame, our shame. He took all that and nailed it to the cross. So when we talk about holding on to the past, why are you holding on to the past? He's already thrown it up on the cross. He endured the shame so you wouldn't have to. Shame will freeze you in your tracks. It will take you and I can't think of the word it's that I want to say, but it will paralyze you, right? It will paralyze you into the point that you can't move anymore. You feel like you can't move anymore because you're hanging on to this stuff, even though the shame has already been taken. Don't let that shame stop you, please. Just let it go. It is a killer. I mean, it is a absolute killer. You wouldn't believe, I didn't realize it until you step into a role like this where, and it happens at school all the time as an administrator, but people will do things you would not even believe because they're ashamed. They're trying to hide it. Anyway, it's a killer. Okay. 1 Peter 1, 6 and 7. Again, we're just talking about trials here. I'm talking about things that are going to go wrong in your life, okay? Do you know Jesus pretty much says that it's going to happen? I mean, Jesus himself said you're going to what? You're going to face trials and tribulations. Things are going to happen. Does everybody understand that? Just because you know Jesus, that doesn't mean nothing ever bad is going to happen again. It's just not the case, okay? So we need to, sometimes mentally preparing yourself is a good thing. So if you mentally prepare yourself that something is, sometimes things happen. It's how you react to them. In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials, okay? You're going to be grieved by various trials. Next verse. That the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found in the praise, honor, and glory of the revelation of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's you should break that down sometime too. Just imagine if we were really start believing the truth about yourself. Just imagine what would happen if you really and truly started believing the truth about yourself. Because if you start believing the truth about yourself, then all of a sudden, you can start sharing it with somebody else, right? I mean, pretty soon it'll be easy to see the truth in somebody else, because the truth about me and the truth about John are usually parallel because we're one in the Spirit and one in, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the righteousness of Jesus Christ is what makes us and what gives us our identity. What Jesus did, why he did it. He did it. He took the shame, right? He took all the sin. He took all those things and nailed it to the cross so you could live free from it. So that means whenever I start figuring out and really believing what that is in me, when I look at John, I'll see the same thing. I'll see freedom. I'll see he doesn't have any shame. He doesn't have unrighteousness. He doesn't have, all these things that we try to hang on to. Does that make sense? Whenever I figure out who it is in me, then I can see it in John, and I can start calling it out in him too. Does that make, that's where I'm trying to get to with all those words. That's how you get to the prophetic, is you start understanding and speaking that stuff to yourself, and all of a sudden, and then it just comes out to somebody else, because it's the same for you as it is for me. Now, it may not be the exact same words, but it's the same message. We are one spirit through Jesus Christ. His righteousness is what we are. I am His righteousness. He gave it to me as a gift. I don't deserve it. I couldn't earn it. But it's there anyway. So now the question becomes, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take it or not? Are you going to believe it or not? What would happen if we really started believing that? If we'd really and truly start believing that His righteousness is is who I am. The righteousness of Jesus Christ is who I am. Period. But say, last week though, did you know what I did? Okay, now we're holding on to this stuff, so I can't walk in His presence. You can't move on until you understand that point, that His righteousness is who you are. Your identity is in Christ. Anybody ever heard that one before? Your identity is Christ. The hope of God's presence in this world is in me. The hope of the glory of God, it sits inside of you. So if you don't like your surroundings, then let Him come out a little bit, right? Anyway. Just imagine. You experience in life what you believe. You experience in life what you believe. If you believe you're not good enough, guess what you're going to experience? Not good enough. If you believe that this pain is more than I can handle, guess what? The pain is more than you can handle. If you believe that there's no way out, then guess what? There's no way out. Now, those are facts. Now, let's stop believing the facts, because there may not be. You may not see a way out, and I don't. Whatever it is, doesn't even really matter. Those are facts. Start believing the truth that. That's right. I have the Spirit of Jesus Christ living inside of me, who has overcome the world. And He's never lost a fight. So instead of us focusing on the facts, we need to start focusing on the truth. Okay? Get your eyes off the facts and start looking at truth. Because you experience in life what you believe. You need to make sure that your mind is renewed enough to understand what you should be believing is the truth, not your circumstances, not the facts, not the things around you, okay? All right. So where does the truth come from? I wrote this down. Hopefully it's for today. But we have moved away from the simplicity of the gospel. Okay, what is the gospel? The good news of Jesus Christ, correct? The good news of He died and hung on the cross and did all those things so we could be together. So He could come inside of me and be my identity and be the righteousness of Christ inside of me. There it is. That's the entire gospel of Jesus Christ. He went and did all these things for you to be able to have right standing with God. It's that simple.
It is.
The more complex we make it, the further away we get from it. The more complex you make the gospel, the further away you get from the truth of it. Okay, I want you all to understand that. Stop making it so hard. Excuse me, that's not the correct word. Stop making it so complicated. Because I didn't say it was easy. There's a difference between easy and simple. You know, sometimes the easy road is not always the right road, but in this case, simplicity is what I'm talking about. It's not complex. It's not whatever. What it is your identity comes from Him, and He died to give it to you. Religion makes it complex, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I was trying to avoid saying that, but there you go. You know, when you go to religion and all of a sudden you got all these rules and you have to be here on this day, and I heard a person tell me the other day that, so I remember growing up, we sat on the third row, the 14th seat over to the right, blah, blah, and had all these things that they had to have every Sunday. And it's fine, don't get me wrong. I mean, I sit in the same seat. I'm not trying to say I'm any better, but that's not the gospel. And it makes no difference where you sit and where you go and who you're with on Sunday morning. As long as the truth is being spoken, you're good to go. So anyway, Ephesians 4, starting in verse 11. Ephesians 4. I got to get my... Did we get a TV ordered? No. All right. I know. I've told her that like 15 times. It's in the cart. They'll deliver it right here. We just got to ask them. Okay. So Ephesians 4, verse 11. I'm telling you, the problem is the only time I remember is when I'm standing right here going, TV doesn't work. And he himself, this is chapter 4, verse 11 of Ephesians. And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the equipping of the saints. Why were those gifts given? For the equipping of the saints. Why do we need to equip the saints? For the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, for building up of one another, correct? And how long are we going to do this? Till we all come to the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God, to be what? How in the world, listen, Eric, nobody's perfect. I am. You know how I am? Because of what Jesus did. Not because of what Eric did or what Eric's ever going to do. But I am perfect because of what he did. Because he was perfect and he took it all the way to the end. Went all the way down to the pits of hell, got the keys back from Satan, right? Then he came back, and then he gave it to me. He gave it to you. He gave it to us. Do y'all understand that? That's how important this is. I don't think you can go any further till we understand this. And maybe all of us do. Well, if everybody in this room has it, and you got your life all put together, then we need to go out and start sharing it more. Okay? If not, we need to continue to work on it in our own houses, in our own lives. And then come in here and practice it. It's a safe place, right? That's the great thing about here, is if I give a word and it's way off, you can say, oh, I'm not sure about that one, and we'll be okay. But if you go out and, anyway, safe place, always safe place. Let's see, where was 13, to become the perfect man, to the measure and the stature of the fullness of Christ. That's the target, right? But spiritually, we've been made a perfect man, the stature of the fullness of Christ. Does that mean you're going to be always right in everything you do and never make a mistake and never say something? No, that's not really what that means. What that means is you can make a mistake and say, you know what, it's okay. I learned from that, and I'm going to move on now to something else. I'm going to let go of that decision, and I'm going to walk in your present, and next time I'll do better. The world is the one who tries to hold you down. The enemy does. All right. That's the truth. See, the reason I read that's the truth about you. You have been made perfect because of Jesus Christ. When God looks at you, he sees perfection. Now, does that mean when the world looks at you, they'll see perfection? No. That's not what that means. They're going to look at you and say, you're a mess. I might be, but I'll tell you what, I'm getting closer to being where God has, because I'm walking in his presence, and every step I take is a little bit better than the last one, and I'm moving forward and all these different things, right? That's speaking truth to yourself. It's prophesying, right? We're prophesying right now. I'm prophesying to you that you are perfect in Christ. Maybe you're not there yet, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. John 8, again, this is Jesus talking here. And I want to read what he says about truth. John 8, verse 31. Then Jesus said to those Jews who believed in him, if you abide in my word, and you are my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Then they answered him, in verse 33, then they answered him, we are Abraham's descendants, and we have never been in bondage to anyone. You know, it's pretty, yeah, short memory is a good way, but it's a lot of times, you ever argue just for the sake of arguing? He just said you're free, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm not in bondage. What am I free from? You know, and you're asking, it's like junior high kids. Just listen, and I know more than you right now. I'm talking like if I'm Jesus, I would have said some things like this. That doesn't make it right, by the way. Okay? I'm glad he answered the way he did, because he just reiterated. He just said it again, because he has patience that I don't have yet, that I'm working on. Yet they answered him, how can you say bondage to anyone? And then Jesus, how can you say you will be made free? So here's what his answer was. Most surely I say to you, whoever commits sin is a slave of sin. And a slave does not abide the house forever, but a son abides forever. Therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free. So the simplicity of what that says, it says, Jesus made you free. Does everybody understand that? That's the truth. Facts is, I don't feel free. I feel like I'm in bondage. I feel like I'm hurting. I can't get out of this. I don't know what's going on. If you keep saying those things to yourself, you're looking at the facts, not the truth. The truth is, I've been set free. I have the mind of Christ. Continue to prophesy those things to yourself until it starts to sink in, okay? Again, that doesn't mean your life's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that the pain's going to go away immediately. But it will go away because you're walking through the shadow of the valley of death, right? It's not even real. It's a shadow of evil. Because the shadow of evil can't hurt you. Maybe the evil can, but you're just walking through the shadow. Does that make sense? Because the shadow is probably the facts. And the truth is, I'm going through. Does that make sense? I'm going to say that again. The shadow is the facts. But the truth is, I'm going through it. I'm not trapped in it. It's not the end. Because he's the finisher of my faith. Do y'all understand? Do y'all starting to get a feel of how this is supposed to go? You're supposed to take these things that God says about you, that Jesus said about you, and you speak those to yourself instead of the actual facts about what's going on. Does that make sense? John 14, just a couple pages over. This is Jesus again, talking about truth. This is Jesus talking here. He says, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go, y'all understand, this is before the Holy Spirit was sent. Okay? This is not something we're waiting for. I don't want you to sit here and think, well, he's preparing something for me that someday I will be over all this stuff. No, that's not what he's saying here. He's saying, I'm about to go up there, and from there I'm going to send you a helper that will get you through all these things. Okay? So don't think you have to get to heaven to receive this. And I'm going to verse 4, and where I go, you know, and you the way you know. Okay, I just want to, let's just drop down to verse 6. Jesus said to them, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except the truth. Who's the truth? I read all that to say that. Sorry. He's the truth. You know, there's a lot of things that he did that didn't line up with the world religion and or the way things were supposed to go and all these different things. Those were all facts. Well, you're not supposed to be able to do that. You can't do this because we were supposed to do that. You can't eat on this day because we were supposed to. All these were facts that the world lived by. But he's like, those aren't facts. Here's the truth. What difference does it make if you eat on that day or not day? And these are just rules and those are facts. He's the truth. All right. I want to talk about how free you are for just a second. All these things that we're talking about, why is it so important? Why is it so important that we understand this? Because if you actually learn these things and we actually start embracing these things and we start prophesying to ourselves, you're going to be free. Which you've already been given the freedom, but you're actually going to be able to start walking in that freedom and understanding the freedom. And who would, whenever you start learning to walk in this freedom, all these facts that you see, you're going to be like, who cares? Because I know who my God is, and I know where I'm at. I know where my righteousness comes from. I know what he says about me. I know he's a finisher of what he started, and he started something to me, and it's not over yet. It's not good, so I'm going to move through this, whatever it is. Instead of letting the facts drag you into a pit of despair, you all of a sudden are able to look at the facts and say, well, I see that. That doesn't really make sense because here's where I'm going. So it must be something wrong here. I'm just going to keep going at this, and I'm going to keep walking in his present. And he's going to show me where my future is. The Spirit of God must have absolute freedom to use you to affect. One of the things that gets us caught up, and I think this is the perfect, I'll probably end on something like this, but there is the message that I talked about last week about holding on to the past. Okay? Here's your past. Here's your garbage. Here's your pain. Here's your insecurity. Here's your, flaws, your pimples, warts, and hair, and all this stuff. It's all over here. I got to read this again because, just think if we absolutely, completely, and totally just forget all this stuff and allow the Spirit to move with us anyway. What he can do in your life. Do you understand how powerful the Spirit can be whenever you let all this garbage go and walk in his presence and just let it go. Let him have absolute control of every partial part, square, room, everything within here. Just let the Spirit have it. How powerful that you can be and affect the lives of everybody around you, your family, your friends, your workers, your everybody, right? The problem is we can't let go of those things. I keep coming back to that, but we can't seem to let go. I hope Trace. Hallelujah. What a testimony. She saw some things in her life that she'd been holding on to, and she finally just said, let it go. And the freedom and the burden and the weightiness that goes off when you finally find those things and you allow the Spirit to enter the room, you actually open the door and you say, look, I don't know what to do with all this junk. He'll take care of it, but he's not going to bust the door down. You have to open the door. You have to surrender, and you have to let, L-E-T. You have to let it happen. But who wants to walk around with heaviness and burden? Who wants to walk around with all that junk? I'm going to encourage you again. I did it last week. I'm going to encourage you again to just let, L-E-T. Let it happen. Surrender. Just give into it. Who in here loves to surrender? I love the story of when Drake used to hold Rachel down in a little headlock with his arms around him, and all she had to say was, I give up, or I tap out, or whatever the case. I forget what he say, uncle, I think maybe is what he said. Say, uncle. She would not say it. And she was yelling at me, save me, Daddy. And I said, just say, uncle. Just give up. But we do that, don't we? It's like the enemy or something, or your past is just holding you down and got you in a chokehold, right? And just holding on to you, squeezing you. And all you got to do is say, I let it go. Just give in and surrender. Just let it go. Gosh, this must be a good message I got coming up because I can't seem to get to it. But I guess nobody's got anywhere else to go. So hopefully I'll see you next week. because there's too much to even start today. So I'm gonna end it there. But yeah, you can. I have one more thing to say, and I'll let Jessica close it. But if we will surrender to the freedom of who He is, and I just encourage you to let go. I don't know I've ever given any speeches where at the end I was like, hey, if you'll just give up. But this is what I'm telling you. Just give up on trying to do it yourself. Give up on trying to fix it. Stop trying to fix it and let Him fix it. Just get out of the way. So, all right, Jessica. You go, girl.
While he was talking, he was like, just put on the joy. Just come over here and let God do it. Just give it up, and he was kind of being a little flippant, because, if you're in it, like he was like last year, like through till lately, his way of giving it up was kind of painful. It was kind of like he had to choose it. I mean, it's a physical action. He says it like he's good at it, good at looking at what God's doing and good at letting it go. I mean, I think he'll be better at it than he was, but before, when we were over here in this struggle, if he had just given in, if he could just get it off him or let it go or give in to God, the joy was right there. And it's like the easier, when you let it down, the joy is right there. So I know he was making it sound like it was easy and, it's so fun, when you're going through these trials. But now looking back on the other side, it's like, oh yeah, I can let that kind of thing not control me, not consume me, not take me down because it's all I see. So and he just keeps coming back to this thing of letting it go and letting God and speaking the truth and, our identity and what we say. So let's do a declaration. All right, repeat with me. Father, I believe I am who you say I am. Redeemed, precious, loved, powerful, whole, healed, set free. Yes, you know how to give me a beat. But it is those things, those little 5 words right there. Start with those. Speak to the enemy. You can't have my family. Because we all have it, and we're all going to stand, and we are all standing together. Yeah. Whole new countenance when you're able to look God in the eyes and see what he sees in you. He's not done, but it is finished. So our agreement today is just yes. Another yes. Amen. Have a beautiful week. We love you.